You're sitting at breakfast. Your hand trembles slightly as you reach for your cup. You feel a little lightheaded, but you shake it off. It's just old age, you mutter. But what if it's not? What if that small tremble, that brief moment of dizziness, was your body shouting for help? Every year, over 240,000 Americans experience a mini-stroke, a warning shot that often goes unnoticed. Even more alarming, 1 in 3 of those people will go on to have a full-blown stroke, many within just 1 year. Let that sink in. The signs don't always scream. Sometimes they whisper, a bit of slurred speech, a foggy moment, a stumble that feels like nothing. These aren't quirks of aging. They're red flags. And 80% of major strokes can be prevented if we act on those early signs. This isn't just about health. It's about freedom. Your ability to stay independent, to remember your grandchildren's names, to hold a coffee cup without fear, to walk into your kitchen and know exactly why you're there. So today, we're going to walk through 8 warning signs of a mini-stroke. In plain English, without the complicated medical jargon. I'll also share real stories, insights from doctors, and what you must do the moment one of these signs shows up. Because sometimes, saving a life starts with simply recognizing the whisper before the scream. Are you ready? Let's start with a simple but powerful question. What exactly is a mini-stroke? Doctors call it a TIA, or transient ischemic attack. But here's what that really means. For a few moments, the blood flow to part of your brain gets blocked. It's like a warning shot, a small interruption that clears up on its own. No permanent damage, no lasting symptoms. Sounds harmless, right? But that's the danger. It feels minor. So most people ignore it. They think, well, I feel fine now, so it couldn't have been that serious. But what's happening inside the body is far more serious. Think of it like this. If your smoke alarm chirped once in the middle of the night, would you go back to sleep? Or would you check for smoke? A mini-stroke is your brain's alarm going off, briefly, urgently, warning you that something is wrong. And here's the harsh truth. 1 in 3 people who have a mini-stroke will go on to have a full-blown stroke, often within days or weeks. That's not a maybe. That's a medically proven risk. Worse, many people don't even know they had one. It might look like a dizzy spell, a forgotten word, a stumble while walking. But each of those little things could be the first domino in a much larger chain. And here's the good news. Up to 80% of major strokes can be prevented if mini-strokes are caught and treated early. So instead of brushing it off as a weird moment or a senior thing, what if you saw it as the body's gift? A second chance. A chance to take action now, before it's too late. That's why this matters. Because recognizing these signs isn't just helpful, it's life-saving. Have you ever had a word stuck on the tip of your tongue? Now, imagine this. You know exactly what you want to say. But when you open your mouth, the words come out wrong, jumbled, slurred, or maybe nothing comes out at all. That's not just frustrating. It could be the first sign of a mini-stroke. Doctors call this aphasia, a sudden difficulty speaking or understanding language. But don't let the big word scare you. Here's what it might look like in real life. You try to ask for a glass of water, and the sentence comes out backwards. You hear someone speaking to you, but it sounds like a foreign language. You know what you want to say, but your mouth can't keep up. This isn't forgetting a word here and there. This is your brain's language center, suddenly and briefly, going offline. And it happens fast, not gradually like memory loss from aging or Alzheimer's. This can hit within seconds. That's what makes it so dangerous and so easy to miss. It might only last a minute or two. You might recover quickly and think, well, that was strange. But that moment could be your brain crying out, help me. Remember, mini strokes are temporary, but the risk they signal is real. And recognizing this one sign could give you time. Time to get to the ER, time to start treatment, time to stop a full-blown stroke from happening. So next time your words won't come out right, or someone tells you your speech sounds odd, don't shrug it off. Instead of saying, I'm just tired, ask, what if this is something more? Because it just might be. Have you ever walked into a room and forgotten why you were there? That happens to all of us from time to time. But when confusion hits you all at once, when your brain suddenly feels like it's in a fog, it could be something much more serious. Imagine sitting at your kitchen table and suddenly forgetting how to make coffee, or picking up your phone and not remembering how to dial a number, or someone asks your address, and you can't recall it at all. This isn't your typical senior moment. This is your brain misfiring in real time, struggling to process information, solve problems, or stay oriented in your own space. Doctors call this an acute confusional state, and it can be one of the early signs of a mini-stroke. It happens when blood flow to certain areas of the brain is temporarily interrupted. The result? You feel lost, scattered, and unlike yourself. The confusion might last only a few minutes. You might brush it off as being overtired or distracted. But if it comes out of nowhere, and especially if it's paired with other symptoms, it should never be ignored. Instead of assuming it's nothing, stop and ask, why did that just happen? Because while forgetfulness from aging tends to build slowly over time, confusion from a mini-stroke is sudden and sharp. It cuts through your day like a power outage. And here's why it matters. If caught early, you can take action, prevent damage, protect your memory, and keep your mind clear for the years ahead. So the next time your thoughts feel scrambled, don't just shake it off. It could be your brain's way of waving a red flag and giving you one more chance to listen. What if one side of your body suddenly felt different? Maybe your hand feels heavy, your leg doesn't quite respond the way it should, or half your face feels numb, like it fell asleep without reason. That's not just a strange sensation. It's one of the most recognizable signs of a mini-stroke. When a mini-stroke cuts off blood to the motor areas of your brain, it disrupts the signals that control movement and sensation. The result? Sudden weakness or numbness, often on just one side of the body. Here's a quick test. Look in the mirror. Smile. Does one side of your mouth droop? Now lift both arms in front of you. Does one arm drift downward, even just slightly? These are red flags. Simple checks that can reveal something far more serious than a tired muscle or poor posture. And here's the key difference. Normal fatigue affects your whole body, but stroke-related weakness is usually one-sided. Face, arm, or leg. Left or right. Not both. Instead of saying, I must have slept funny, try asking, why can I feel one side and not the other? Because a mini-stroke can be silent. It might last minutes, then vanish like it never happened. But the risk remains. And 1/3 of people who ignore that sign will later face a full stroke, with consequences that don't disappear so easily. The good news? You have time to act. if you notice the sign and respond quickly. So if you ever feel weakness that comes on fast, affects just one side, and seems to pass as quickly as it came, don't wait. That passing moment could be your warning, and your chance to stop something much worse. Have you ever stood up too fast and felt a little dizzy? That happens. It's normal. But what if the room starts spinning, and you're not even moving? What if your legs feel shaky, your body can't find balance, and you suddenly feel like you've had one too many drinks, though you haven't touched a drop? That's not just lightheadedness. It could be a mini-stroke, affecting the part of your brain that controls balance. Your brain relies on signals from your inner ear, your eyes, and your muscles, all working in perfect sync. But when a TIA blocks blood flow to your cerebellum or brainstem, that system can go haywire. Fast. Some people describe it as trying to walk on a moving ship. Others say it feels like being pushed sideways, like gravity just shifted. And here's the danger, especially for older adults. This kind of sudden dizziness doesn't just feel scary. It leads to falls, injuries, broken hips, even hospital stays. Instead of thinking, I just got up too fast, ask, why can't I steady myself even when I'm standing still? Because mini-stroke dizziness doesn't come and go with movement. It hits suddenly, and often sticks with a strange sense of disorientation. And remember, balance trouble paired with other signs, like vision changes, numbness, or confusion, should be taken seriously. The sooner you recognize it, the sooner you can seek help. And the sooner you get help, the greater your chance of preventing a major stroke down the road. So if your world starts spinning for no reason, don't wait for it to stop. That spinning might be your signal to act, while you still can. Imagine this. You're reading the paper or watching TV, and suddenly, half your vision disappears. Maybe it's like a shadow coming down over one eye. Maybe everything goes blurry. Or maybe, just for a moment, you see flashing lights, or double images that don't line up. Would you assume it's just eye strain, or would you consider something more serious? Because sudden vision changes, especially those that come on fast, can be one of the clearest signs of a mini-stroke. Doctors have a name for it: amaurosis fugax. That's when blood flow to the eye or the brain's visual center is briefly interrupted. But here's what matters more than the name. You don't have to feel pain for it to be dangerous. You might feel perfectly fine, except for your vision acting strangely. And that's the trap. People think, it's just my glasses, or maybe I'm tired. But strokes don't wait, and your eyesight isn't something to gamble with. So instead of saying, my eyes are just playing tricks on me, ask, why would my vision change so suddenly? For no reason. Unlike gradual vision loss from age, cataracts, or glaucoma, stroke-related vision problems happen all at once, and they often affect just one eye or one side of your visual field. The good news? If caught early, there's a real chance to stop things from getting worse. You can protect not only your sight, but your life. Because a mini-stroke doesn't just steal your vision, it warns you. The next time, it could take much more. Not all strokes feel the same. Some are loud and obvious. Others sneak in quietly, through discomfort we often ignore. Let's look at the final 3 signs of a mini-stroke. Each one may seem small on its own, but together they tell a serious story. First, a sudden, severe headache. We're not talking about a dull ache or a typical migraine. This is a thunderclap. A headache that slams in out of nowhere and peaks within seconds. It's sharp. It's intense. It feels like something exploded in your head. Some people say, "I've had migraines for years. This was different." That difference matters, because a mini-stroke can trigger a sentinel headache, a warning flare before something worse happens. So instead of saying, "I'll just lie down and ride it out," ask, "Why did that pain hit so hard and so fast?" Next, tingling or pins and needles, especially on one side. You know the feeling when your arm falls asleep? Now imagine that sensation creeping up your hand, your arm, your face. Only this time, it doesn't go away when you shift position. That's because it's not from pressure. It's from the brain. A mini-stroke affecting your sensory cortex can cause numbness, tingling, or a strange sense of temperature change. It might start subtly, but it's your body's alarm. And finally, brief loss of consciousness. This one's scary. You feel lightheaded. The world goes gray. And suddenly, you're down. Only for a moment. But when you wake, you're confused. You can't quite remember what just happened. Some people call it fainting. Doctors call it a pre-syncopal episode. But when caused by a mini-stroke, it's a sign that the brain's alertness center lost its blood supply, even for just a few seconds. Instead of saying, "I must have skipped breakfast," ask, "Why did my brain just shut off?" Because any one of these symptoms, a brutal headache, one-sided tingling, or even a brief blackout, can be your warning. And, together, they demand attention. Mini-strokes don't always arrive with flashing lights. Sometimes they come as a whisper, a flicker, a nudge. But every one of these signs gives you a chance to act. And sometimes, that chance is all you need to prevent what's next. Let's pause for just a moment and bring it all together. You've just learned 8 warning signs that could save your life, or the life of someone you love. Trouble speaking or understanding words, sudden confusion or mental fog, weakness or numbness on one side of the body, dizziness or loss of balance, sudden changes in vision, a sharp, severe headache, tingling sensations, a brief loss of consciousness. If even one of these shows up, especially out of nowhere, do not wait. Don't wait to see if it goes away. Don't wait until your next doctor's appointment. Don't wait because you don't want to make a fuss. Because every minute matters. Instead of wondering, "Am I overreacting?" ask yourself this: what's the cost of doing nothing? A mini-stroke is a warning, not a fluke, not a flurry, not just stress. It's a gift, if you recognize it in time. The research is clear. Up to 80% of full strokes can be prevented with early detection and treatment. So call 911, go to the ER, tell the doctor, "I think I may have had a TIA." Because what feels small today could become life-altering tomorrow. You don't need to remember every medical term, but you do need to remember this: if something suddenly feels off, and you can't explain it, don't ignore it. React fast, and give yourself the best shot at a healthy, independent life. If you're still with me, thank you. Thank you for caring enough to learn. Not just for yourself, but for the people who count on you. Your spouse, your neighbor, your friend who thinks they're just getting older. Now, I want to ask you something simple, but powerful. Have you or someone you love ever experienced one of these signs? Maybe it passed quickly. Maybe you brushed it off. But now you're wondering. If that's you, I invite you to leave a comment below. Tell your story, not just for me, but for the next person who scrolls down and realizes they're not alone. because your voice might help someone recognize a symptom they've been ignoring, and your words might push them to act before it's too late. And if you found this video helpful, please click the like button. Share it with a friend, especially someone caring for aging parents. You never know who might be one symptom away from a life-changing moment. Instead of keeping this to yourself, what if you were the reason someone else caught their stroke in time? This isn't just information, it's prevention, it's power, and it's hope. So stay curious, stay connected, and most importantly, stay aware. Because recognizing the signs is the first step to staying alive.